Let's look at number 7. Which of the following are true? So we need to write these out. So which of these are true? So the first one, square root of 14. Well, if we look back to number 3, we estimated that the square root of 14 is 3.7. So we're going to do 3.7, that's the square root of 14, right around 3.7, plus 6.2 is less than, we have to do pi times 3, so that's 3.14 times 3. We can come to the bottom, 3.14 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 1, plus 1, or 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9. We have to move the decimal over twice. So that becomes 9.42 minus 8.2. So if we add these, 3.7 and 6 plus 2, we get 9.9 is less than, when we subtract these, we would get 1.22. And is 9.9 less than 1.22? No. So 1, that first one cannot be true. Second one, 17 over 5. 17 over 5 would be 17 divided by 5. 17 divided by 5 is 3.4. Then we add the square root of 64. The square root of 64 is 8. And that has to be greater than 8 plus pi, which is 3.14. So when we combine these, we get 11.4 is greater than 11.14. And that is true. So 2 is true. Moving on to 3. So we get 35 minus the square root of 40. Okay, so the square root of 40. The two closest square roots are the square root of 36 and the square root of 49. So to estimate this, we're going to take our square root, what we're looking for, minus the lower square roots. That's 40 minus 36. We'll put that on top of the upper square minus the lower square, so 49 minus 36. So then we would get 4 over, what is this, 49 minus 36 is 13. So then you would do 4 divided by 13. And that's about 0.31. So square root of 40 is between 6 and 7, so we're going to estimate it to 6.31. And then is that greater than 6 times 3.14? So when we subtract this, 35 minus 6.31, we would get 23.69, and that's greater than 3.14 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8, and 6 times 3 is 18. So 18.84. Is 23.69 greater than 18.54? Yes. So 2 and 3 are correct, so 7 is B. On to 8. Which number is between 3/25 and the square root of 14? Okay, well we already did the square root of 14, both in the last problem and over on 3. The square root of 14 we're going to say is about 3.7. So this is about 3.7. 3 over 25. So So we need 3 divided by 25, add the decimal, 0, 25 goes into 30 once, 25 minus and get 5, bring down the 0, 25 goes into 50 twice. So this would be 0.12. So we're looking for a number between these. So let's figure it out. A, 1/14. So that's 1 divided by 14. 14 does not go into 10. You have to add a 0. Then we can add a 0. 14 does go into 100 7 times. 14 times 7 is 98. We'd subtract and we would get 2. We can actually stop here because we know that 0.07 is less than 0.12. So that cannot be our answer. B, 13 over 4. So 13 divided by 4. 4 goes into 13 3 times. Minus and get 10. Add a decimal and a 0. Or minus get 1. Then add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 10 twice. That's 8 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Minus and get 2. Bring down a 0. 4 goes into 25 times. So this is 3.25. This one was 0.07. B is actually in between there. So B is our answer. C, we don't need to solve it, but let's just kind of check it. So this is the two nearest perfect squares would be the square root of 16 and the square root of 25. So we know the square root of 20 is somewhere between here. So it's between 4 and 5. So it's 4 point something, which is too big. And 2 plus pi, that's 2 plus 3.14. 2 plus 3.14 would be 5.14, which is too big. So the answer has to be B. On to 9. Which of the following best expresses this population? So if we were to write this in scientific notation, our base number would be 2.70721, and we multiply by 10 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 6th. So obviously B cannot be our answer because that has the wrong exponent. 2.707. This one isn't even in scientific notation. D is not. So looking at these two, which one has more detail? This one has more detail. It's the closer number. What's the answer in scientific notation? So we need to add these. Or subtract, I'm sorry. In order to add or subtract, we either have to change it to standard notation or get the same exponent. So since we're subtracting, let's increase the exponent. So that would be 5.1 times 10 to the 6th. In order to get this to have the same exponent, we need to increase the exponent by 1, which will decrease our base by a power of 10. So that actually becomes 0.43 times 10 to the 6th, and we're subtracting. So we have 5.1 minus 0.43. We would need to borrow. 10 minus 3 is 7. We need to borrow from the 5, make that a 4. That becomes a 10 minus 4 is 6. Bring down the decimal and we get 4. So we get 4.67 times 10 to the 6th. So 10 is D. And last one on this page. What type of ant is that many meters long? What is that length in scientific notation? So our base would be 3.5, and we're multiplying by 10. In order to get it to the, in between the 3 and the 5, you have to move it 1, 2, 3 times. But you're moving it in the wrong direction, so it makes it a negative 3. 3.5 times 10 to the negative third. So the answer to 11 is B. And you could have automatically gotten rid of C and D because those numbers are not even in scientific notation. Their base number is too big.